Coming to you live and or pre-recorded, I'm Sven Sandberg from the WTTT studios in beautiful Central Florida, and this is The Time Traveler, random ramblings and mindless musings from a prematurely retired travel consultant with your host, Greg Angstrom. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate that. An extremely warm and undeserved, yet greatly appreciated welcome. So Sven, the man behind the camera, any updates on sponsors for our program? Okay, well, I kind of figured such, so I took the initiative to attempt to contact Law. I'm sorry? Who is Law? LaCroix. LaCroix, yes. Evidently, Mr. Croy was not in the office, as I've not heard back from him yet. All right, so we need to think of another option in order to keep this well-oiled machine moving forward, okay? So what do you think, Sven, about a GoFundMe page? GoFundMe, yes. Could that be a possibility? Okay, well, since I'm looking for some income during my retirement, I thought this could be a possibility. So I checked my finances and calculated that to go with my retirement savings of $19.74, I would only need about $1 million from GoFundMe. So, Sven, do you think that's doable? Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah, it sounds like a very modest starting point. So let's pursue that and look into that a little bit, okay? So, Sven, guess what? Yeah, that's right, Sven, that music, besides sending me to my happy place, that means it's time to open the Time Traveler mailbag. Well, we continue to be flooded with questions, comments, and suggestions. Okay, today I need to douse a small family fire or two. All right, well, Sven, you may remember from our last episode that I mentioned my favorite sister named Brenda, not to be confused with my favorite wife named Brenda. Well, I heard back from my other sister who said I should have said my favorite sister named Brenda who lives in Texas. Well, I replied that by saying my favorite sister named Brenda should have avoided any confusion. Had I said my favorite sister Brenda, I would have had to add who lives in Texas to avoid any show of favoritism. Amazing how one little word can totally the meaning of a sentence. Amazing how one little word can totally change the meaning of a sentence. So I hope this helps my favorite sister named Charla not feel slighted. I think she just wanted a shout out on my extremely popular YouTube channel, and this is probably her 15 minutes of fame. So enjoy, Charla. All right, the other family fire to douse has to do with my favorite brother named Doug. Now, actually, I only have one other brother, so the word named is actually irrelevant in this case. Now, you may recall in episode 4, I covered the history of the cinnamon bun or cinnamon roll and showed the picture of my all-time favorite lunker from the Silver Grill in Fort Collins, Colorado. Now, here is the picture once again, in case you have forgotten or you have not watched that episode yet. And I challenge you to go back and watch that along with any other missed episodes. Now, the issue that Doug had with that episode is that he watched it on a day that he was doing a one-day fast. Seeing the container of Entenmann's cinnamon rolls sitting behind me for the whole show, plus the close-up shot of Silver Grill's offering, almost did him in. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have fasted out there, but you do not realize how many food commercials are on television until you are in the middle of a fast. I don't care if it's a one-day or a 40-day fast, the commercials seem incessant and enticing as you salivate for any and everything dealing with food. There are times that even dog and cat food commercials look appealing when you are fasting. So one last look at this picture as Doug is fortunately eating once again. All right, our last deep dive into the mailbag has brought up a major oversight by yours truly. Okay, in our last episode, I covered some of my many nicknames, including a couple from Ecuador, El Jefe, meaning the boss, and Señor Maravilloso, meaning Mr. Wonderful. Now, our good friend Mara asked about Santo Gregorio. Now, let me explain. Our church, Cuenca Christian Church, met in a large house, and in the yard, as is typical in many yards in Cuenca, was a shrine to place candles and a picture of Mary, Joseph, Jesus, or some favorite saint. This is kind of a representation of what some of those yard shrines might look like. Well, over the 4 years that we lived there in Ecuador, I frequently asked when I was going to have my picture placed in the shrine. Well, lo and behold, when my wife and I paid a visit to Cuenca last September, look at the very first thing we saw as we entered the church grounds. Yes, that's right. Saint Gregorito, patron saint of the Maravilloso, patron saint of the wonderful. Well, needless to say, that was my 15 minutes of fame. Well, be sure and tune in to our next exciting episode as we're going to take the time machine back to 1983 and the start of my 37-year travel career. Now, here's a little teaser, all right? That is a license plate from Iowa. It says INTL2R. I will explain this and more next time. So until then, as always, I'm kind of a big deal. Ciao for now. Thank you for joining us for today's episode. Remember to subscribe, share, and like this channel. This is Sven Sandberg for The Time Traveler, random ramblings and mindless musings from a prematurely retired travel consultant.